Continue to watch the election results come in. We're joined this morning by John Truscott, the former Director of Communications and Press Secretary for Michigan Governor John Engler.
Thanks so much for waking up early with us, John.
My pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Now, John, from what we saw in the polls leading up to Election Day and the results coming in this morning, fair to say the polls were wrong.
Yeah.
So why do you think the race was not as close as researchers thought?
I think we really have to dig into the crosstabs later as things come in. I think pollsters treat different demographic groups as fairly monolithic, and they think they're going to vote a certain way. We saw that is not the case. You've got the Latino vote, you've got the Arab American vote. A lot of them went against what has been traditional consensus from the pollsters, and they just can't measure that because they don't know to what degree people are voting different ways. But it just shows the economy matters, crime matters, immigration, inflation. Issues that affect the pocketbook are what really came down and affected this race.
Let's talk about the press specifically. You have a lot of knowledge about that. You were a press secretary at one point. You know, how did the press coverage of the candidates shape these results? We saw Trump doing interviews very frequently. Kamala Harris, a little bit more selective.
You know, people want to know, they want to feel that they know who they're voting for. They want that connection. And given that Harris was only a candidate for a little over 100 days, even though they knew her as vice president, they didn't know her as a candidate. She wasn't doing many interviews. She didn't do any press conferences. So people didn't really get a feel for how she handles herself and how quick she is on her feet. And I think that was to her detriment.
And John, you talked about this already briefly, but tell us more about what these results say about in terms of the topics and the matters that are at top of mind for voters.
Yeah, when you look at Michigan and a lot of other states, Democrats pinned their hopes on the abortion issue, which was resolved 2 years ago at the ballot box. So that wasn't an issue here. People cared about the economy. They care about inflation. They care about putting food on the table. Are their kids going to be able to afford a home when it's time? Those are issues that you just can't cut through with something else that's not related to the economy. So it comes down, as we always say, to bread and butter issues.
All right, John Truscott joining us with some very valuable insight this morning. John, thank you so much for being here.